Hello friends, Amanda here. Welcome back to Handmade, Not Hallmark and card 3 of my Christmas in July series. I just love these little snowmen from Mama Elephant. I hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. The first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get all of my stamping done in advance. So this stamp set has been around for quite a while, and there's lots of other stamps from Mama Elephant that are really similar. I think there's like penguins, there's jungle animals, I think there's cats, there might be dogs now too, bunnies, all sorts. I really like these stamp sets because they're so versatile. You can do a lot with them, and I've done a lot with them. So I'm harkening back to a card that I created years ago before I had my YouTube channel, and it is an all over stamped card using these cute little snowmen and some masking paper. So what I did here is I've got some Inkadinkadoo masking paper, and I just cut that out right along the top edge of this stamp. It's super easy to do, takes no time at all, and you can reuse these masking these masks, excuse me, multiple times as long as they don't get too like inky. You can use them quite a bit. So that's what I'm doing here. So what I wanted to do first is I wanted to do my gray background first for the Merry and Bright card, just so I didn't have my mask too inky before I did my other stamping. So I've got a piece of Neenah white cardstock here that's already pre-cut to the size that I want, which is slightly smaller than an A2 sized card. And I'm using some Simon Says Stamp Fog Gray ink. If you guys haven't picked up on it, this has become like a new favorite again. I've always loved this ink, but I've been using it a lot recently, and I just love the way that it looks. So what I wanted to do with this card is I wanted to create a nice fun background and then put a really nice bold die cut in front of it. So that was the idea for this one. Super easy, super quick. You could definitely make multiples of this. The most consuming part of this is this stamping here. This takes up most of the time, but if you do a whole bunch of these panels at one time, you can create a whole set of cards, which I think is fun. So I'm just going to use the plastic that comes on the stamp set to kind of help me get everything lined up so I don't accidentally get ink that may or may not have still be on the stamp onto my white card base before I'm ready to stamp it. So the nice thing about this is that using the MISTI tool, you can kind of move things around, get it placed in, so you could use any type of stamp positioner. I really do recommend using some sort of stamp positioner instead of using like a large acrylic block or something like that. That way you can do multiple stampings if necessary. So I've got my snowman second layer placed here, and I've got my mask in place, and I really love the way that this turns out. These little snowmen are just the cutest. I really like them a lot. I think it would be really fun to combine a lot of their these like border sets that they have with all the other like holiday ones that they've come out with and create like a whole panel. I know it would probably be a lot of masking, but do like different rows of each of the critters, which I think would be a really cool idea. A fun way to kind of incorporate all of those things together. So I'm going to carefully pull my mask off. I did tear it just a little bit, but that's okay. Again, this isn't really that hard to do. This was super easy to cut out, so if I had to redo it, I definitely could. Going to try to get that lined up. Sorry if my big fat head gets in the way, but I wanted to make sure I got it all nice and lined up. And then I'm just going to shift it inside my MISTI here so I can move the stamp around. And that's what I really like about this, is that there's so many images inside this little stamp that you can kind of move it around and get certain snowmen in it, other ones not. So it kind of gives you a nice variety. Gonna get this last layer stamped down here, and then we can work on the other one. So the other one is going to be the same process. I'm just going to be using some black ink instead of this gray ink, and it's a Copic friendly ink because I do plan on using my Copic markers. And with some movie magic, you can see here that I've got my panel all stamped down using that black ink, and I can get right into the coloring. So all of the colors that I used will be listed on the screen, and I'm going to put on some music for you to enjoy, and once the coloring's all done, we'll come back and finish up these cards together. once I was finished with all the coloring, I'm going to go ahead and work on my greeting. And I'm using this big Merry and Bright die from Mama Elephant. And I cut it out using some white cardstock. This is a 120-pound cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. And then I also cut it out using some red cardstock. This Schoolhouse Red, also from Simon Says Stamp. And I'm just going to use some liquid adhesive to adhere all of these together. I really like doing this with die cuts. It makes for a fun dimensional kind of pop of element to your card. You could definitely, if you wanted to, take the time and put foam tape on the back of all of this, or you could just adhere it flat as well. It would look great all the same. But I really like using these big dies because they're so easy to stack up. They take no time at all and they go together beautifully. I'm going to do the 2 layers of white and then the 1 layer of the red. And that's going to go on top of the gray snowman background. I really wanted it to pop and be kind of the focal point of the card. I had thought about cutting out, because there's 2 little individual snowman images in that set that goes along with the long line of snowmen. So if you wanted to add more or do something different, you could. But I couldn't figure out a way to get them to fit nicely in here because I don't have the dies for this set. So if you had the dies, you could probably get them to work in there, but I didn't. So maybe next time I can maybe fit the little snowman in somewhere to kind of incorporate them a little bit more. So once I have that done, I've got my card bases here and I'm just adhering them. This one is the gray one and I'm adhering it to a dark green cardstock that's cut to an A2 size. I don't honestly know what brand this is. I just found it in my stash and used it as my background. I wanted to do something that wasn't black. And then I'm going to adhere this one down as well using that same liquid glue. I'm going to go ahead and get that adhered right to the center of this card, and it really pops on top of that white with all those little snowmen in the back, and it's big and beautiful, and I just love the way that this looks. Super cute and fun. And then for my other card with the colored in snowmen, I am going to adhere it down to a black base, also cut to an A2 size 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And the reason I did black is because the greetings that I'm going to use are black. So I wanted it all kind of to match, and it matches with the outlines of the snowman and all those things. It's all very well coordinated. So I'm going to go in and add a little bit of detail to these. You could definitely leave it be. You don't have to add any detail. This is completely optional, but who doesn't like to add sparkle and shine to a Christmas card? So I'm just going in with this Aqua Shimmer pen from Nouveau and adding shimmer to all of the little elements here on my little snow people. And I don't really have a set thing. I was just coloring in just about every accessory that the snowman had. I felt like it was a nice touch, and it adds a bit of shine to the card as well, because this is going to be a 1-layer card, so there isn't any other kind of dimension going on, and I think adding these little details really makes the card pop. And then I'm going to go in with a white Jelly Roll pen and add some highlights to their little accessories as well. Again, completely optional. You don't have to do this, but it's definitely a fun way to add some interest to the card. After I had that all done, I went in with my R20 Copic marker and added a little bit of blush to each of these little snowmen. I know snowmen don't really have rosy cheeks, but I wanted to add it. I thought it was a cute detail. And then for my large Mary die cut, I went ahead and added some of that liquid shimmer as well. And then I'm also going to go over top of that with that white gel pen to add some highlight details to this as well. I felt like it created kind of like a, I don't know, made it interesting, kind of made it pop and stand out a little bit more, and kind of added to the whimsical nature of the font. I have done this in the past with other large word dies, and I think it looks really cute, especially with these kind of like funky and quirky sort of fonts and text. I think it works really great. Once I was happy with that, I went ahead and took a couple of sentiments from Waffle Flower. These are the Christmas tree sub-sentiment die cuts. So these are pre-printed onto some cardstock, and they're already cut apart, and all you have to do is just kind of pop them apart and you've got sentiments ready to go. I thought these were really, really neat. They have a whole bunch for different seasons and different occasions, and I felt like this would work really great for these cards to kind of help keep them being kind of like quick and easy minus the coloring portion. And then what I did was I took this mono sand eraser, and because where they're connected, there is a little bit of like a bump on there. So I wanted to clean that up a little bit. So I just took that sand eraser and erased those little bumps of paper where they were connected. And then I'm going to take a black marker. This is just a Tombow marker, and I'm going to go around the edges. Because this is done, it's printed on white paper, so there's still a white core, and I wanted it to look like black cardstock, so I went ahead and went around the outside edge of all of these and just colored that edge in, just so it looked like it was a little bit more finished, looked more like a die cut. And again, this just kind of helps clean things up and make it look a little more cohesive. Once I was happy with that, I'm going to add some foam adhesive to the back of these. I'm just going to pop them up using some Doris foam strips. I know Doris doesn't make these anymore, but you can get them from Scrapbook Adhesives. I think Simon makes them now. You can get them, I think, from Waffle Flower too. I think they make a variety pack as well. So I'm just using up what I have left in my stash, but you can definitely use any type of foam adhesive to pop these up. Or if you want to keep it all one layer, you can definitely adhere these nice and flat. I wanted to add just a tiny bit of dimension to these just to make them a little bit more interesting because they are mostly one layer and there's a little bit of dimension on the Merry and Bright card. So I figured why not do it with these ones. And I decided to adhere them kind of wonky so they kind of match with the whimsical nature of both of these cards. It's really hard for me to not adhere things straight, so this was a little bit difficult for me, but once I kind of put them on there, I knew I was happy with it, so I was okay going ahead and adhering them a little bit crooked. Once I was happy with all of that, I wanted to get the actual card bases done. So I already have those ready here. I'm just going to score them in half so they are both a top folding A2 size card base. And this is Simon Says Stamp 120-pound cardstock. This is just my preferred cardstock for bases, and I really just prefer doing top folding cards. I feel like they sit up a little bit nicer, so if somebody wanted to display them in their home, they set up just a little bit better. And what I wanted to do is I just wanted to add the snowmen in here one more time, nice and neat right along the bottom. So I took out that large die again, or excuse me, that large stamp again, and I'm going to stamp it down right along the bottom edge of this card. And I'm going to use that same fog ink that I used earlier, so there's plenty of room to still write a greeting to the recipient. I didn't do any other stamping on the inside of the card. I decided that these little snowmen were the perfect fit and that they were a nice way to kind of finish off both of these cards. And I did decide to fold this one over to stamp it. I don't really know why I did. I think I was just trying to think. I was overthinking it at this point. But in the end, I really do like the way that these turned out. They look super cute. And these little snowmen are just adorable. Once I was all finished and happy with that, reinforce that score line with my bone folder here, and then I'm going to adhere both of these finished panels to the bases. I'm just going to do that with liquid adhesive. And I really like this liquid adhesive from Nouveau. I recently got it. I think I had it in a haul video, but I didn't share it. And I really do like it. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And these card panels fit exactly A2 size, so I don't have any other frames going around the outside, which you could definitely do that if you wanted to. If you didn't want to do so much coloring or so much stamping, you could reduce the sizes a bit and make them have a larger mat instead of a thinner one. Once I get that all adhered down here and I'm all happy with it, that will finish up these cards for today. I really appreciate you guys stopping by, and if you did like the video, please consider hitting the like button as well as the subscribe and the little notification bell so you don't miss out on any more videos here at my YouTube channel. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye! On screen, I've got a few videos that I think you'll enjoy. Please consider hitting the subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos here at my YouTube channel.